replenish trust. Healing out loud. Rain is tapping on the window. Moonlight dancing on the floor. Every shadow holds a story. She is hiding there no more. Mela's moving through the water toward the light she sees somehow. Something deep inside is rising. She's healing out loud. Let's replenish trust. Let the old walls fall. I'm possible. I can hear the future call. Let's replenish trust. Let the truth come out. I'm possible. Healing out loud. Mel from the Bronx keeps moving. Melly carries rhythm home. Melanie riches in the moonlight. Never walking on her own. Mel from the Bronx. Melanie Richards. Replenish, release it. I'm possible. Let's replenish trust. Let the whole room sway. I'm possible. There is light along the way. Replenish trust. Healing out loud.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gracious. Welcome to Impossible Live. And Sean, I want to thank you for your suggestions during We Rise and Soar. And my guardian angels, they sent Mr. Rochelle, Mr. William Rochelle. And heads up, welcome back, beautiful Yaritza. And the really cool part about this is Bill Rochelle and Shawn Michael are going to be live on Bill's show this Thursday at 1. Mark your calendars. We will put it in the chat. So, as they say, healing out loud, needed to do so. Expressed it during We Rise and Soar. 10 days ago. And as Yaritza and I would say, absolutely no accidents. I thank every guardian angel. I thank every one of you for joining us. I thank you, Yolanda Chin. I thank you, Christy. I thank you, Shawn Michael. I thank you, Roshni. But Christy Williams, someone needs to hire that lovely woman as a chief of staff. That's point one. Point number two is Yaritza. Welcome back, beautiful.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bill wrote that beautiful song last week, and I'm just seeing the graphics for the first time today with Yaritza. And I'm glad I have tissues nearby because it's that kind of week.
Very nice.
Yaritza and I had the pleasure of meeting in a BNI training at a chapter. For those of you who are entrepreneurs or who are just new to Impossible Live, I'm a BNI alumni. And Yaritza is a very active member currently. The cool part is BNI is Business Networking International, BNI.com. Because of BNI, I also met amazing Lachelle Atkins, America's Supermom, who you have seen. But Yaritza and I met at a training And like the world goes, we didn't have a chance to ever have a private conversation. People told me how fantastic Yaritza was. And I knew this amazing woman had incredible energy. But she has such really good energy. When she walks into a room, people magnetize her. And she's like a wonderful magnet. And when I joined, some people welcomed me that same wonderful way. But when Yaritza did, I knew from prior experience as an introvert, and we are both girls from the Bronx. Thank you, Bill, for setting that off. That I should say always, I'm Mel from the Bronx. But amazing Yaritza, when we first had a conversation, I loved talking with her, but she was always in that kind of whirlstring, kind of like those birds bopping around that amazing Bill added to our new intros. And these intros are because Carla Sellers, amazing Carla, Bill is behind the scenes, and I am in love with this man already. Can't wait to thank him in person in November. But from the Yaritza perspective, you'll see the QR code for Yaritza's Healing Out Loud book in the upper corner, no matter what device you're on, live or replay. You'll also see We Rise and Soar. Our next one is on Friday at 1:11. We have those twice a week. The Yaritza virtual networking, 45 minutes, popcorn style. And you will have a chance to meet Bill live as he joins us for the first time for We Rise and Soar. Yolanda, this shirt, oh my gosh, last week's shirt was Be You, Be Real. This week's shirt is Thou Shalt Not Try Me. We'll talk about them later. Underneath it says Petty Proverbs 24/7. So 2 shirts. Hey, Miss Jackie, how are you, beautiful? The thing about Yaritza is I'm going to shush for a little bit and give you a chance to learn about this beautiful, wonderful woman who is returning. And this is the second in our Healing Out Loud series. So you'll see a link to the other one previously in the chat. And I want to thank those who are joining us on Substack. Woo! Thanks to Bill, live on Substack this week, live on YouTube this week. Warm welcome to Impossible Live and the amazing Yaritza Ruiz, another girl from the Bronx.
Yes. Born and raised.
Tell us about beautiful you.
Well, thank you again for having me, Mel. It's always so good to see you. I wish I saw you more in person, but these will do. These will do. So yeah, I mean, I should start with first saying thank you for these platforms and opportunity to be able to kind of transition hats. As Mel said, I am an entrepreneur. I have a title insurance agency that I run out of the town of Newburgh, which is about an hour or so from the Bronx, where I was born and raised. And I feel like the connections that I did make with Mel it was kind of like, let's meet and then know of each other's existence and great energies, because I give that right back to you, Mel. I feel like you are also magnetic. You're also very welcoming. I remember the first time I was in a room with you, I said, okay, I'm going to go say hi to this lady. I feel like she'll, be like nice and welcoming to me, being a newbie in the networking world. And now almost 8 years later, I am still thriving in the Hudson Valley. So I'm very blessed about that. I've been living in the Hudson Valley now for 11 years, but the Bronx will always be my heart, but I just love it here. Raising children here is definitely a blessing. And I reconnected with Mel after publishing my book, Healing Out Loud. So I'm very honored to be able to have these platforms, because it's different for me in my everyday life. I live my life healing out loud, but my day-to-day is usually building an agency that really doesn't have much to do with generational traumas and the pain of ridding yourself of things that don't serve you anymore. That's something that you do every waking minute, but it's not the money maker. So this is more of a passion of mine, of using the pain that I had gone through and sometimes continue to go through and use it as my purpose and help others really grow and know that they're not alone when it comes to these painful realizations that you go through in life.
I'm pausing for a minute because, hey, Margaret, hey, Felipe, warm welcome, and thank you so much for popping in. And I paused for a second because Bill will laugh. We're live on Substack for the first time. For those who think that all I do is write Substack notes, I thank Bill for helping encourage me to take on a suggestion that two of our former guests, Kimberly Lechnick and America's Supermom, Lachelle, had suggested that I try Substack, and here we are. And Bill's amazing. And Felipe, congratulations on the new job. Thank you for joining us for lunch. And Margaret, ooh, love your jam. And for those just popping in, we're kind of relaunching Impossible Live with Bill Rochelle's help. You'll see a QR code for Yaritza's amazing ZZ. Oh, I gotta help and stop and pop into amazing ZZ Williams is here. Uh, Wonderful voice on Clubhouse. Another amazing mom. ZZ and Yaritza. So ZZ, Yaritza's other hat, other than being an author and a busy mom, is title insurance. Y'all should definitely check out sometime. I will make sure I connect you. You'll notice also, if you're really looking for Yaritza, other than following her book, find her on Instagram, find her on Meta. There's a link on Meta for her Healing Out Loud book group. It's the best way to stay in contact with this busy mom and road runner. The interesting thing today, and we're at a crossroads, and I'm honored Felipe's here also because I popped on Social Saturdays chats show on Saturday, and I talked about the wedding this weekend. Our godson got married yesterday, and we're welcoming him, the Mr. and Mrs. Saunders, incredibly excited for them. And so we celebrated with extended family. His mom's one of our guardian angels. Next year will be 30 years since the divine Miss M, as I call her, passed. So yesterday I'm there as one of his two godmothers with his godfather, who shares his same name. So we have to rename him the Godfather. But as Felipe would say, and Jackie would say, no accidents. Yaritza's here to encourage us to have the courage, slowly, slow steps with exceptional support. You'll laugh because to my right, there's my mom and my pop in the corner. And I was reminded of that yesterday. So today, with courage, with Yaritza's help, with amazing Bill Rochelle on the back, we're launching on Substack, we're launching on YouTube, and we'd love to encourage you, subscribe, share. Let this beautiful woman, Yaritza, not be the best kept secret. Let her book, Healing Out Loud, which I was delighted. We don't see each other often, and we're in the same county. I had a chance to see her in December and say, Yaritza, I need my book signed. And I volunteered a check-in for Latinos in Business Succeeding Together. And Yaritza had donated some door prizes. And I had her book near me. And people kept coming up. Where is she? Where is she? And I'm like, I'm sorry, you missed her. She dropped off 2 signed copies around the holidays and she kept moving. But the Healing Out Loud part, Yaritza, the part that I think through the lens, and I appreciate your encouragement to talk about this out loud. And it's preparing for the beautiful wedding yesterday. My college bestie, who stood up for me when we said I do. Our college bestie. She was there in spirit. She was the only child. Her mom's only child. So we sat at a table with her mom and we watched our godson dance with his grandma. And I was worried that it wasn't going to be on the agenda. It was, of course. And I laughed. He also put a dance with his dad because he couldn't dance with his mom. So I'm laughing. They met over Earth, Wind, and Fire. And for all you musical people, I'm trying to get his dad. What's the song? What's the song? But in this process of preparing for the wedding and hanging out on a social Saturday chat. And thank you again, Felipe. They mentioned the heartfelt stuff. We don't let that stuff out. We're not raised to do it.
Mhm.
We're raised to keep it in that closet that's behind Yaritza. And it doesn't usually have a mirror. It's like this door that's behind me, it's closed. That part, Yaritza, how did you get to the point, not of courage, because I think you always had that. Girls from the Bronx, we had to figure out where we roll, whether you were in the projects or you were on the subway. I was a D train girl or a number 5 or a number 2. What train was near you?
I was by the one in mine. I was by the one in mine.
So see, you were on the west side. I was on the east side.
Yeah.
And I remember the number 1 had that train that you could get stuck at like 168th Street in the elevators. I was back in the day where I was a bus driver's kid. Dad told you be safe. I would take the elevator. Well, Lordy, that was the most unsafe, not so smelling, wonderful place. As you helped get your passion out, your zest out, where did that come from? And how would you suggest others approach it? So I know it's a bit, you talk away. We're just here to drink you in. So you just let us know.
I think a lot of I want to share this and help others came from listening to podcasts. So I talk a little bit in the book about reading Ed Milet's book. Ed Milet is on YouTube. So for our YouTube followers and viewers right now, he puts out weekly content 3 times a week for free. Ed Milet, reading his book leading up to the events that I detail in the book really changed my life. And one of the things that he says that resonates with me, and I truly believe, is that we are best equipped to help the people that we were. So I used to be very outgoing very vocal about things that I was not okay with, right? And that was not well received. And I was also very conscious of how that may land with people, but I didn't know where to place it. So leading up to the publication of this book, I had to ask myself, and I sat with it for probably almost 2 months, where I said, am I releasing this book because I want to be heard by the people that don't want to hear me? Or is there more to this? And I truly had to make kind of like, I had to reconcile that within my emotions and really ask myself, am I doing this for the right reasons? And where I ended up was realizing that my pain was so much more about others than me. I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not the only person that may or may not have yet identified that there are wonderful things about your upbringing, but then there are those handful of things that really no longer resonate with you. I'm not the only person in a family that knows that there's secrets being held, that there are toxic behaviors or mentalities or limited mindsets. And I wanted to be an example at that time. I felt like, okay, I can be an example to somebody who is feeling this, but feels like if I speak up, I'm being disrespectful. I'm not appreciative of the good things that were done for me as a child or as a family member. That I wanted people to understand, like, 2 things can be true. I can absolutely be grateful and appreciate my parents and the family members that poured into me. And I can also identify things that they got wrong. And I can say that wasn't okay, but it is okay now. And we can be okay. And we can grow from this. And we don't have to repeat behaviors, mentalities, normalcies. We don't have to repeat those things if they're really not serving us to be better humans at the end of the day. Yeah, I think that's where it was. No one changes the world being silent, really. You can't heal in silence. I say all these little phrases, but all of those things.
Well, you have one that I really love, and for those who, and I always am conscious of people listening to us while their kids and grandchildren around. Yaritza's got an amazing word that starts with F and ends up with Y, and it's 7 letters. And I love it because it's on her Instagram. I won't say it because my playlist is on my mama's desktop too. I strongly suggest mama doesn't watch Impossible Live, except for Legacies, Illuminating Puzzles, which is the one show that I've shown her. My pop was in love with the Cultivate Trust shorts that we have, and he loved that his daughter with broken trust was certified in trust. I think the thing also, as we're slowing down, Christy's asking Yuritsa,
Mhm.
what do you love most about New York?
Oh, that's a really good one. Well, I mean, being born and raised in the Bronx, New York is, and having family in Buffalo and living in the Hudson Valley, I'm going to say that it's the views. It's the trees, it's the mountains. And being brought up in the city, I appreciate that so much more now actually living here. Because my family did, and through my husband's family, we did travel outside of the Bronx, but I just didn't appreciate it as much as I do now. So just nature. New York has just beautiful nature, and I'm still waiting to discover all the waterfalls and all of like I just spent the weekend in a campground that I was literally remote, no Wi-Fi for almost 48 hours, which is recommended. At first I was kind of tweaking internally, but I survived and it was amazing.
Do you honor that as a tradition? Is there no Wi-Fi for 48 hours? Do you just decompress as part of?
No, no, it wasn't planned. We love to go camping as a family, so we just wanted to try a new campsite where we can bring one of our dogs. And when we got there, we were like, oh, we are off the grid.
See, I love that. I love. You'll laugh. I hosted one retreat, hybrid, live and in person, and I learned live and virtual, and I learned about the dangers of when Wi-Fi doesn't work. When on the back end, I didn't know a bill at that time, and a wonderful person who was coming to take on my video. Everyone else, including my sister from the Bronx, Marie, has great video. Mel's looks like it's something out of the Twilight Zone. We were in a paranormal theater, and I think my guardian angels and whoever else was there, I must have been stimulating them every time I was on stage. It looks like that old black and white television where the static is going in the middle. And for those of us, I'm dating ourselves, those of us who remember rabbit ears that our parents had. And if you were on Substack, I'm looking forward to engaging with you later. Bill will laugh. I kept pausing before because I tried the Substack thing live. I will have to practice it again because I looked on my phone. I was like, you don't want me to pay attention to this right now. But I think the thing too that Yuritz is mentioning is somewhere in this healing process and this relaxation process. And like Christy said, where do you live? What helps you relax? But we have trouble winding down. I tried my best to accelerate last week so I could take the weekend off to celebrate with family. And we celebrated with extended family all weekend. So much so that I just got back 20 minutes before the show. And we left our garment bag at the hotel. So my retired first responder is somewhere in the Palisades right now, hopefully driving safely. The thing I wanted to say too in the healing out loud process, we forget to be careful. Jackie helps remind me of this. Christy, when we met last year, we forget to pause and take care of ourselves. We're so busy putting that seatbelt on somebody else or that oxygen mask. Christy is saying she remembers. I remember, and I packed it this weekend. I knew this was a weekend where my throat chakra could kind of close off. The introvert would want to come out. Actually, as much as y'all see me as this, at the wedding yesterday, I was really thinking of our dear friend, besides the wonderful couple we were celebrating with love. And we were at a table with our bonus mom, her mom, who lost her only child of 30 years. I was in a very different, not antisocial, dressed to impress, as the invitation said, but I was in a different spot. And I realized later, and in the process of this whole weekend, this was a Healing Out Loud weekend, thanks to Christy and Bill and Rick and my amazing brother, but and my family and my retired first responder. But you'll see it as a Healing Out Loud. So I have to thank you for that, Yaritza, for that gift of encouraging another girl from the Bronx. And as Bill put it, your QR code for your book is there. And we'll put a link to our prior discussion about healing out loud. I think, Yaritza, for one of the things too, in terms of healing out loud, you help remind me it's not just a matter, and we're not just in a world where the importance of being bilingual. It's the importance in the healing process of remembering other people speak other languages. I have a soul language. Music is a soul language. My parents raised me with that. With at birth, I remember my parents dancing uh, to the girl from Ipanema, the Dave Brubeck song. I know every note in the 17-minute version, but the music of the Bronx, the spice. But you reminded me in your book of the texture of when you're trying to heal, when you're trying to go, when you're going deep over the generational trauma. And I thank Bill and Christy for your pep talk earlier, because I said it's been a really emotional weekend for me. And I don't usually let that out. Bill heard it during our last We Rise and Soar, and I still haven't watched the replay yet. But when you're in that wellspring part and you speak a different language, maybe from the people who are around you, or you're feeling some kind of way, how do you suggest in your journey of travels, of being able to function and survive in multiple cultures, how do you navigate that part, would you say? Just with
Navigating
business, personal, to mom, to family member. How do you navigate all those twists and turns?
all the hats. I think it's important to stay true to yourself. I also think music is healing. It's also identifiable, meaning, and I might have talked about this in our last meeting. And I definitely, if when you read the book, you can see that I start every chapter with lyrics, because once I got to the point in my healing journey where I was no longer angry, I started to see a shift in the songs that I was listening to. So in the beginning, when I was very upset and angry, I listened to a lot of songs that were kind of angry and kind of like, a lot of like Eminem and, Nicki Minaj and things like that. Like I listened to a lot of those songs, like, Big Sean, and kind of rap songs that kind of gave words to what I was feeling. And progressively, they started to become more about inspiration. So I too grew up with songs being a huge portion of my life. And I think that it was just progressive for me as far as my healing journey. So what I have found is you have to kind of be true to yourself. Growing up in different environments and different cultures, and having, English and Spanish, and having a dad that raised me from Harlem, you have to kind of take what works for you. And that's what I think people should understand. Like everyone that comes into your life from very little up into your everyday life now are giving you little tokens and giving you things that may or may not work for you. And you have to decide what that is and apply it to yourself, and grow every single day. Learn something, be consistent and gentle with yourself too. Because I think that that's important. Like don't compare yourself, because you are truly the only person that's like you. So, find what works for you, identify that, find songs that are going to empower you. I think that a lot of the problem is that some people get so caught up in their feelings and they don't have the words. And that's something that I'm hoping for with Healing Out Loud. It's a short read. It's a quick picture into a short time in my life. and what I did with that pain, but it's not a full picture of how it continues to allow me to grow. So I hope that it gives people the words or even songs that they can lean on and say, oh, okay, I understand that. That feels good.
I love that too, because I didn't realize, and it was funny. I was just having a chat with Exquisite Eve about this just before our 100th episode of Impossible Live, about 2.5 years ago. You'll see it under celebrations, gratitude, grief, and growth. I was grateful that a LinkedIn cheerleader, Shel Shapiro, uh, Shel helped me put the musical Love Language into that session, and I was really grateful for the universe who joined us. Amazing, supportive, wonderful people. And one of the interesting things from the timing, from a healing perspective, I used music to guide the thoughts of everybody who was joining us that day. Everybody reminded me of a song. Some of them were prior Impossible Live guests. Others were like Rick Shearer of Network Fusion, people just known from way back in the day who really get you. I think music helps, and Bill Rochelle has Williams Wind Down tonight at 10 if you're watching us live on Monday. It's on Sunday, Monday, Wednesdays, and he has UBU live. And Bill is going to join us finally in September because he just wrote his amazing second book. You'll keep hearing more about that, but I think the music let me release some of the dreams. And the wildest part was we just put that episode on YouTube because I couldn't watch it. It was so much of the outpouring of some stuff I needed to process. And it was on a day when others in our family learned that our dad was going to transition that week. And they had to pick a day. And the day of that, my parents' wedding anniversary was the next day. Mm. And my mom wasn't going to be able to hear my dad's voice. So I think in the process of the healing out loud, we choose breadcrumbs. Just like today, no accidents. I'm usually in a different location. I have a closed door behind me. Yaritza has a sliding door with a mirror. It's the reminder. We have a choice. We can open the door a little bit, let ourselves in. I used to keep all the junk in the door, like the door behind Yaritza, but it didn't have a mirror. It was in a sliding door. It's like those skeletons in the closet. Like, this is the awareness ribbon for ovarian cancer and for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. It has a dual purpose. I had this ribbon and one fell off. And this weekend and yesterday, as I was healing out loud at the wedding, I needed my ribbon on. And I laughed because this morning when we were leaving the hotel, another ribbon fell out of the bag, Yaritza. So it's a real reminder, whether we hide it, whether we share it, whether we talk about it, whether we communicate it or not.
Absolutely.
We get stuck.
Mm-hmm. But you have to give yourself
grace. Stuck, and thank you for that.
Yeah, you have to give yourself grace. I think that what is misunderstood about making declarations for yourself and saying things like, I need to heal from this. I'm still not ready to see this, to talk about this, to explore how this is really making me feel. It's all grief. A lot of times we associate grief with just death, and that's not it. I think that people need to understand that their grief comes in different forms. And sometimes, and I'll use the example from the book, when you decide that you no longer want a relationship with someone who has played such a meaningful role and such a big role in your life, and you say, I no longer think that this relationship can go forward, there's going to be grief because you probably never envisioned your life without this person or without certain conversations or events. And things change. And it doesn't just come from death. Sometimes it comes from making declarations in your life that are followed by, painful moments.
You reminded me too, as on Tuesday, and I mentioned this during a discussion with Felipe and Mac and Martha and Joel about during Social Saturday Chat. I had to bookmark it, and you'll notice if you're on my LinkedIn profile, I reshared the post of their amazing event, and I really have to, as I said, listen again. I think what I'm learning now is I'm not an AI girl who talks to text yet. I maybe will make a little sound recording. I'll listen to it later. Amazing Carla would send me a transcript so I could hear it later. I could reprocess it. But I had to really learn. Last week, I saw a post from an amazing coach, Roberta Ryan. And Roberta shared a post about a wonderful grief coach that we know that I met in positive intelligence community. And she was hosting grief open office hours last Tuesday. I was having one of those days last Tuesday as my telehealth appointment with amazing mutual friend of ours who I referred to the world and I will continue referring. It was our day to not chat in the morning. And I popped into the grief office hours, and I've been writing about gratitude, grief, and growth. That 100th episode I talk about gratitude, grief, and growth is the sub theme. Well, I'm talking with a grief coach. She's like, I've never heard you talk about grief. I said, you're taking an 8-month break on LinkedIn. And in the process of talking about grief, we have anticipatory grief. We think something is going to happen. We have the sudden grief. You have all the different types of grief. And family members used to tell me I should be in funeral services. I told them when my pop passed in transition, stop saying it out loud. But they reminded me on Tuesday that the gratitude, grief, and growth is the lane that I need to use to start my book, because it's where the wellspring is. They also invited me to an amazing event in San Francisco, a little too close to September 11th, I don't think, because of supporting family and some other weird, unusual stuff that happened this weekend. I know I need to stay closer to home, but they invited me to a conference in September. And I'm like, oh, I'd love to go. San Francisco. Haven't been there in years. We were there for hours one day. But I think just that process of grief and stuff that brings up. Today's an anniversary of me stopping smoking. I smoked for 23 and a half years and worked in a toxic environment. And at the time that I left, I was smoking a pack and a half a day. So those of you who are out there on your cigarette break or vaping, please take great care. But Yaritza, the ribbon, you'll see the hashtag is in every live stream that Yaritza and I do. And we'll continue diving into that during our Healing Out Loud series. Christina, welcome. Warm welcome. I'm delighted. Christina and I finally have a call. We'll finally get to see each other. And Christina, welcome to Impossible Live. If you think this is inspiring, Christina, watch from the beginning as amazing William Rochelle, as y'all know him on LinkedIn, Bill Rochelle wrote an amazing intro, and it will lead to an amazing outro. And the outro, Yaritza and I will have to talk about that in chat. The outro made me reach for a tissue. Just like the intro, I heard the song and Bill just took my breath away. But the thing about it is, today Bill's sharing the visuals with me for the very first time. And I thank you, Yaritza, for being really present. While today the universe is reminding me, as I'm looking at a picture of my pop in my corner here, to keep trying to heal out loud. I think the reflections part, and it's funny, I mushed up today. Today's playlist, you're going to love it. Reflections Healing Out Loud was our first show. And you're going to laugh, Bill, because I forgot to create the banner. It should be Replenish Trust Healing Out Loud today. So as Yaritza will say, Mel, who just walked into the door before we went live, it'll be the reminder to change that. Yaritza, we've been everywhere. Girl from the Bronx, a little bit about New York, a little bit about environments. How many dogs do you have? You mentioned you took one of your dogs camping.
I have two Cane Corso, so they're Italian Mastiffs, and I took the puppy who's one, and her size is just more tolerable. She's about 85 pounds, so the big boy is about 145 pounds, and he's just more nosy and more reactive to sounds and kids playing. So not in an aggressive way. He's just so like nosy. But so we left him at home. The puppy went with us instead. So yes. I was, and if you read the book, you will find out that I was anti-pet, love animals in general, but I was anti-pet. And the events that I went through that began this journey ended up in me getting not one dog, but two dogs. And I am now a big dog mom. And I like to say that my boy, who will be 4 this year, really replaced a lot of people in my life. He came in, and all the love that I was pouring into people and the love that I was getting from people, that had to get replaced by someone. So there's this joke that like God gave you a dog, to replace crappy relatives, and I'm all about that.
Now you'll laugh. I want to thank you for that part. The relatives part. Let's leave the word out there before, because I have a lot of family that's probably now watching us on Meta, because there's a link to today on my personal timeline. So for all of you relatives who don't know my address and you don't have my phone number, and from a cultivate trust perspective and a replenish trust perspective, sometimes we have those we love with mental health issues, those who have inspired steps in our trauma journey, those who have deposited debris in the generational trauma journey, those who don't have the lens for the hashtag believe survivors. And if that does not make sense to you, let's chat sometime about Fearless Hudson Valley, of whose boards I am on. And it's fearless with an exclamation point. Mm-hmm. Honored to be there for 18 years. I think you're reminding me, Yaritza, to thank Kellyanne Costa-Laria at her first board meeting for passing me a paper on trauma written by Perry Rainbow.
Mm. Hi, Kellyanne. She's awesome.
And I'd love, really, come join me next year at our Celebration of Hope brunch. Please come join me. And let's invite Sandra and some other friends and come hang out with Marie. We just had our 40th anniversary Celebration of Hope Gala, which was kind of amazing. If you're on YouTube, you'll see there's a Fearless playlist on my page. There are opportunities right now, as Yaritza would say, donate school supplies or join us for the We Can Be Heroes Run Walk 5K, which is coming up in October. Kids come in like their superhero costumes, and their parents dress with them, and the kids have a special fun run. It's, I would say it's at Orange County Airport. I would say, Yaritza, I don't know, but you could come and maybe bring your dogs. Maybe not the 145-pound one, because she'll be like, hey, I just want to come and hang out with others like amazing Brittany and others in your wonderful networks. Yaritza, for those who have not read your book yet and who haven't accessed the QR code, as you're encouraging me to dive into writing my first book, and I just made a plan for that this week. It's been on hold, on stall, and I thank you for that. And Bill Rochelle, thank you for helping to release the magic. Normally, you'll know, our Live streams with our guests are 45 minutes. We've lengthened them to an hour just to give us a little time to do some juicy stuff. And as Bill would say, to add in a proper intro and outro. But today's intro, totally inspired by Yaritza's Healing Out Loud. Some of you may want to heal silently, like some of us have been working on for decades.
And that's
And others need to watch Just Jacks and Friends tonight at 9. And Jackie Hallberg, who pops in and pops out because sometimes her schedule permits or it doesn't. There are licensed social workers. There's NAMI. There's a code you can text if you're having a mental health issue. You can reach out and we'll connect you with somebody we love and like to talk to. But if you're feeling alone in it, and Yaritza's helped me with this, I went last year to a client's event, and the client's event was in the same. Uh, I drove past the dorm that I never thought at the time I wasn't a driver. I was a girl from the Bronx, and dad was a bus driver, Yaritza. So I used mom's pass. I didn't drive for years. I didn't drive till I started my first business. And here I am. I drove to the dorm and I stopped. I noticed the security safety box outside. I noticed the new pad. It's funny how generations or decades and having a safety plan will help you. But I noticed a little code where they had to punch in their numbers to get into the building. What happened to me happened, and the person who did this was the next door neighbor in the dorm. So the alarm wouldn't have helped me. The awareness that when your kids go to school, really teach them that their bodies are temples. When they're walking around, like Yaritza said, that process of awareness, no matter what train or bus you're on. But everybody's got a story, and I'll invite Yaritza back for our next Purple Thursday live stream. We did one on LinkedIn last year. Yaritza, as we're closing out, and I thank you for sharing your love and light. As you're sharing the stage, you're sharing beautiful light as well as watching Bill's amazing intro. Hey, Jedi J, how are you? Warm welcome. Jedi J, today is like Star Wars. Bill Rochelle is in the house. Amazing Yaritza's in the house. You'll see a QR code for Yaritza's amazing book called Healing Out Loud. And Jay, you're going to see an outro that Bill Rochelle designed for me that made me reach for a tissue and cry. And I think Bill's added graphics to it. And I think with transparency, as Bill's doing it, and he'll probably start it in about 5 minutes. I think as we're winding down, we'll let Bill keep Yaritza and I on the screen so we can watch it for the first time. But today's an invitation, no matter what stage of stuck you are, whether you're stuck trusting people in a fragile AI world, whether you're doing the Yaritza hustle of being a busy mom, a loving wife, and you're juggling a full-time business. This amazing woman, if you are selling or buying a house and you don't know in New York that you can call Yaritza for your title insurance, we will eventually get Yaritza to accept one of my speaking invitations, but I have tagged her on LinkedIn. Follow her, shout her out. Oh, Jay, yes, Yoda shares his healing power with Luke with the power of the Force. Jay, today's a Yoda day.
Yes.
Melon t-shirt, 2 in a row. Yaritza's bringing peace.
Baby Yoda memes are great for your healing journey, actually.
They are. I still haven't watched The Mandalorian yet, but soon. It's on the wish list. I bought my brother a Mandalorian ornament. I still have to catch up with that whole series. Yaritza, as we're closing, before Bill helps us close out, what would you like to leave others with? And thank you for your grace and for joining us today. What do you want to leave them with before the next day in our series, which will probably be in the fall series?
I would like everyone to really understand that it's it's waves. It's waves. Not every day is the same. You just truly have to be true to yourself and understand that every day you can strive to be closer to the person that you were meant to be, but that your pain doesn't have to be yours alone. You can heal out loud and you can heal in silence, but know that there will always be someone that can benefit from what you learned from your pain.
Mm. And as the lessons come, just like me talking about being at the wedding, I had to process silently yesterday. Some people might have been expecting a more talkative Mel, our godson, when they're back from their honeymoon. Will maybe ask me why he didn't see his two godmothers together at the same time yesterday. I was healing out loud. I went to the ladies' room because sometimes you need a break. I call them sacred pauses. Kimberly Lechnick and I talk about them, pockets of peace. And Yolanda, ooh, Yaritza is saying, thank you, Yaritza. This was inspiring. She's amazing. Just like the title in the beginning, Reflections, Healing Out Loud. That's the previous title.
Yeah.
This is Replenish Trust, Healing Out Loud. The series will continue.
Yeah.
Check out amazing Bill Rochelle's
Trust yourself.
intro. Babe?
Trust yourself, I would say. Trust yourself.
It takes a while. I'm certified in trust in the process. I explored self-trust, self-care, self-love. But I think also the reminder at different times and stages and phases in our life, we don't have the energy for the journey.
Absolutely.
We are going to thank you for joining us today.
We're
going to get back to you on whatever platform. We want to keep shouting you out. I want to congratulate Felipe as he started a full-time job. Jedi J, thank you for popping back in. And thank you. And Bill Rochelle is partially here because of the amazing Christy D. Williams. ZZ, yes. Oh, I love that. ZZ's talking about pockets of peace. Yeah, we got a really cool series with Kimberly Lechnick, Pockets of Peace. And we're about to launch Cultures of Awareness, Respect, and Trust. ZZ is on Clubhouse in an amazing community, and she's got wonderful self-care for women groups. Conversations. I popped in last Tuesday a little too late, and she had them again on Wednesday. And ZZ, please put your Clubhouse links if you can in the chat, or put a link for those to get into your weekly conversations, or put your Clubhouse information so someone can click and we can shout them out. And if you don't have a chance, let me know. I'll do it by Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Thank you all for joining us. Take a moment, please, to pause, to celebrate someone you love. Reach out to someone you have not spoken with when you can, because it's a lot of people and I love it. Yaritza nicely called them crappy relatives. There's a lot of people that we haven't had a contact with that maybe as part of our healing process. It may be a note, it may be a letter, it may be not attending the gathering that they are. There's all sorts of things and all sorts of reasons, but I just really have to say thank you for being one of those angels on earth. And Yaritza, we haven't seen each other since December. We're going to fix that.
Yes.
We're going to fix that. We're going to. How about we fix it by the fall? By the fall, there's an autumn equinox coming on. We can give ourselves a month. Okay. Maybe I'll come see you. We'll come to Bezos. I'm dying to go there. We'll come.
I've never been.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's a date. It's a date. Bring your handsome husband so I can meet him.
I will.
Okay. It's a date. All right, everybody. You know how this goes. Stay safe, stay well, stay inspired, and stay in touch. Have a peaceful day filled with blessings, opportunities, and possibilities. And if Amazing Bill's outro takes us a few minutes late, thank you again for your time. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for dropping in to the relaunch of Impossible Live. And we are going to let Amazing Bill Rochelle, aka DJ Soul Flow, we're going to let him take us out in style.
Silver on the window, blue beneath the blue. Something in the distance moves the way I do. A shadow crosses moonlight, then disappears from view. I never heard it calling, still somehow I knew. No map upon the water, no footsteps in the sky, only a quiet turning where the water touches light. Let it move softly through the blue. Let it turn till the darkness starts to bloom. No beginning, no goodbye, only circles in the night. I can hear the silence changing where the water turns to light. Moonlight on my shoulder, stars lean into view. Rain becomes a rhythm I have always known was true. A compass in the current, turning without sound. Something from the far side is circling me now. Coming through, underneath, over me, silver